Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speak to the item.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I do appreciate the gentleman from Suffolk with enduring those questions and walking us through that. And I do want to thank him and the body, and especially the Appropriations Committee, for really laying out a pathway to getting towards Medicaid extension. And I think, you know, everyone recognizes there's some real solid economic arguments to doing this. My concern is, and I do have an amendment at the desk, my concern is that the amendment, that the item that's proposed is not workable in the fashion that it's there. It's very unrealistic and costly. We're going to be negotiating with the federal government here. We're not holding all the cards when we walk into the federal government to try to obtain waivers to reform our system. I fully support reforming the system. I'm glad that that part is in there. I'm very happy that we have some language in there that's contingent on the federal government putting forth the same dollars that they've promised. But I'm very concerned about the language, as restrictive as it is, particularly with the item on paragraph 5, no later than July 1st of 2014. I'm very concerned that even if we get to the point where we can expand Medicaid, where we get what we need to do the waivers and reform, that we still won't actually accomplish expansion until a full year after that, July of 2015. And let me tell you the ramifications of waiting till July of 2015 as opposed to January of 2014 when the Affordable Care Act goes into place. We will miss out on, in those 18 months, about $3 billion worth of benefits that would go directly to hospitals and clinics and physicians who treat people who are uninsured. The thing that you need to understand about the uninsured is they still get sick. We can't just tell them, oh, please don't get sick for these 18 months while we try to reform our system. They'll still get sick. Hospitals will still have to treat them, and they will have to pass on the cost, as they always have, through premiums in which we all end up paying. So what my budget amendment does is it takes the language that the Appropriations Committee put in and has some very simple language that would condense the time frame so that we can get to Medicaid expansion faster. I do think the General Assembly should retain its flexibility and authority to oversee this entire process, but we can do this much quicker. We'll be back here in January, and if we don't see the timing line up as we would like, then at that time we can put the brakes on everything. And so I would ask that we reject this amendment and not forego the $3 billion that we're going to leave on the table, because that's the estimate. $3 billion in 18 months of a delay, that's money that's not going to go back to the people treating the uninsured. And I don't want to leave that money on the table. So what I'm asking everyone to do is to reject this amendment so that we can go to some language that I have proposed that will be very fiscally responsible, I believe, will not forego the $3 billion leaving on the table. Because, again, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, these people will still get sick. Someone will still have to pay for them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.